アニメじゃない、アニメじゃない、本当のことさ。Okay, so here's the thing about Double Zeta. This show fucking rules. It reminds me a lot of G Gundam and how unserious it often is, but what I find really cool is how each of those shows does its silliness in different ways. Like G Gundam is super hammy and over the top, but still takes itself very seriously. Like it's a very like toony kind of show. Double Zeta is this unabashedly goofy Saturday morning cartoon until it's not. And while there are still moments or episodes that are really silly, when shit happens in Double Zeta, it fucking happens. So before going any deeper, I'm just gonna go and put a spoiler warning for Zeta and Double Zeta. I might touch a little bit on CCA as well, or 79, but that's kind of going to be the bulk of it. So what I really want to do is just kind of walk down the arcs of Double Zeta, kind of how I see them. Not like every individual two-parter, but just kind of every chunk of the show and going over the things I liked and my observations before ending with talking about what I saw as some of the major themes. So, starting with the first arc, which is everything on Shangri-La, this is about the first 10 episodes or so. It's where we're introduced to our new main characters. We've got this bunch of punk kids who skip school and make money as junkers. We've got Judo, L, Lino. I can't remember if it was like Lino or like Eno. He was the one that like never really left much of an impression on me, I'll be honest. Bicha and Mondo and Lena, with Rue joining a little bit after. And while she's not one of the junkers, she's kind of about the same age and more or less gets along well with everybody, although we'll get to her and her rivalry with Elle here in a bit. Our punks are quickly contrasted by Mashmir, who I described him here as a professional simp for Amon Kar. So like I fucking love Mashmir. Just seeing this dude with like his hair, the rose, the way he talks, like did they just put James from Pokemon and Gundam? I don't know which came out first. I actually, when did Double Zeta come out? Hold up, I gotta check real quick, because for all I know, James was baby based off Mashmir. Hold up, Double Zeta. When did this shit come out? Yeah, this came out in 1986. It would be the other way around. So I don't know. Maybe he was an inspiration on James from Pokemon. That'd be kind of wild. But Mashmir is someone who holds himself out as a gentleman. War is this very noble gentleman's game. Fighting should be fair. It should be elegant. You're not supposed to hit someone in the back. You're supposed to announce yourself. It's one-on-one. All of that kind of shit. All while performed with this rose in his pocket. And if anything happens to that rose, he gets pissed off. This chunk of the show on Shangri-La, for lack of a better term, is just really fucking goofy. Is it fun? Yes. Like, I did enjoy it quite a bit. But after the ending of Zeta, there's a lot of whiplash, and I'm honestly glad in hindsight that I took a long break in between Zeta and Double Zeta, because I don't know if I would have enjoyed the first few episodes of Double Zeta immediately after, especially with Yazan, who by the end of Zeta is like this absolute threat who's killed a lot of people that I genuinely like, but here he's just this recurring thug and goober, and in a vacuum, that's kind of fun. After episode like 49 of Zeta, I don't know, like I don't want to say it feels disrespectful, but it definitely feels kind of off. And ultimately it's not like he becomes a recurring threat in Double Zeta after this. He just kind of disappears. But ultimately, I think Shangri-La, it's a good enough time with the Junkers starting to find their footing with the Argama. And Judao's like, look, I don't super want to be a pilot, but it is what it is, I guess. Then we get to the second arc, which I've just kind of titled Space Shenanigans. It's essentially everything in between leaving Shangri-La, but before meeting Puru and like going into Axis. And to me, once you get into space, the show definitely picks up a bit. There's still a lot of goofy shit. Like there's everything with Kara. I don't remember if she's a cyber new type or a regular new type who's weird, kind of like Kess from CCA. I think she's a cyber new type. She's very, very prone to mood swings. She's used a lot for fan service. She's a very weird and silly character. We've got Beach. I fucking love Bicho and Mondo, by the way. I kind of like these two idiots from the word go. But them constantly trying to betray the Argama so they can scrap the Zeta and then later the double Zeta so like they can get a lot of money for the parts. There's just a lot of other notable shit, though, that happens during this section. Number one, the double Zeta. This is when it gets formed. They get all the pieces. So now they have 3 Gundams. You've got the Mark II, and I'm going to be honest, I think of all the designs of just Gundams so far, the Mark II might be my favorite. You've got the Zeta, which I do think is nice. I think that the Mark II to me is a little bit more slick. And then the double Zeta, which Jose had described to me before I started it, was like, it's just kind of gaudy. And I don't disagree with him. Like, I don't hate it by any means. I think it's all right. This chunk of the show is also when we get introduced to Glemmy Toto, who I think you can make an argument is the real main antagonist of Double Zeta and not Hamon Karn. While she is the leader of Neo Zeon, Glemmy is the more persistent and personal threat, both in like the pursuit of Rue and his kidnapping of Lena. It's kind of like, who is the main antagonist of Star Wars? Is it the Emperor, who's the guy who's like ultimately calling the shots? Or is it Vader, the guy who killed Obi-Wan? Spoilers. But like Luke's father, the guy who killed Obi-Wan. The more consistent, persistent, personal threat. I think you can make a good faith argument in Star Wars. I think you can make one for Double Zeta as well. And also, speaking of which, yeah, Lena gets kidnapped by Glemmy, which is what really gives Judao his motivation to stay with the Argama and fight against Neo Zeon. I am here to save my sister. Also around this time, we get a trio of love triangles. So there's Judao, L, and Bicha. There's Rue, Glemmy, and Judao, and then L, Judao, and Rue. And just any time L and Rue are on screen together and just shit-talking each other, I was just always grinning. I just found it really funny. And I'll be honest, normally I'd kind of roll my eyes at the amount of characters who are interested in Judao. Like here we've got L, Rue, but then we also have like Kara. Both versions of Puro, we'll get to that in a bit, are very interested in him, although they kind of frame it as being more of like a big brother than like a romantic attraction. And then even Hamon Karn has her like very, very strong interest and obsession with turning Judao to her side. And yeah, normally I'd just kind of roll my eyes like, okay, like of course the main character is he's swimming in the opposite sex. But I really think it works here just because of the nature of new types. And how, yeah, all of the Junkers are new types. They have enhanced senses and enhanced empathy, and they can really feel each other. And we see in a later scene, which I can't wait to talk about, where Judao basically manifests a stand. Like, he doesn't use it or anything. It's just kind of... It's a physical representation of just how powerful this dude is. And when you see something like that, like, okay, it makes sense that a lot of new types would be very, like, pulled toward him. Like, it's not necessarily a romantic attraction or a physical attraction. It is literally almost like a magnetic attraction to him. And I think that actually makes a lot of sense, and I think is kind of neat. Also, while it's not super important, although it's kind of important for Mondo, we do get the episodes on the Moon colony. I just enjoyed that. I liked seeing this weird culture and religion. Honestly, I just thought it was super neat. Then we get to the third arc of the show. So this is Axis. So it's around this time that I realized just how much I was enjoying Double Zeta. It's not that the previous stuff was bad. I've even said that I enjoyed it. But this is where I felt like it really started to lock in. It's when Hamon Karn is officially introduced into this series. Puru gets introduced and she ends up joining the Argama. Bicha and Mondo now return to the Argama and more or less stay on the straight and narrow. We get that like the fucking episode where the two of them hijack... I don't remember what the name of the mech was, but I think it was Glemmy's. Like, they hijack the mech, start fucking with people, and then realize, wait, if we go back to the Argama empty-handed, they probably won't, like, help us. Oh, what if we save Lena? Oh, yeah, they'll totally take us back. And so they try to save Lena, and they're not able to do it. And then Judao barely, like, passes them, doesn't realize that it's his bros. I mean, they have issues. But it's his bros and his sister. Like, this is some straight-up American Tail shit and how he just missed saving his sister. That was great. Like his interaction with Haman Karn there, and then later when he's in space, when like she kind of lures him onto her like spaceship. I really liked that. And you could almost feel it's like he's not gonna join her side, but a really funny recurring element is like Haman Karn will have Judao to herself, start talking to him, and it almost seems like he's starting to listen. He's almost starting to buy into it. And then someone else will just show up and interrupt, usually to shoot at Judao, ruining the moment and pissing off Haman Karn. And this is the first time it happens, and it's kind of gold every time. Even if the rest of the moment is very serious, I'm like, okay, this is still kind of funny. Again, when shit happens in Double Zeta, it fucking happens. It can still be kind of goofy. Around this time, I feel like the battles against Neo Zeon became a lot more personal. Again, with Glemmy in particular. For Judao, he's on site. For Rue, he's on site. Pudu just senses him and is like, oh, fuck. Glemmy's here or he's on the way. We gotta get ready for this asshole. This is where I believe we got the Crybaby Cecilia episodes, which I really liked. I think it was a fantastic way of just, this is what happens when civilians are caught up in a war. Which, I mean, it's jumping ahead a little bit to the themes. Yeah, believe it or not, that's a major theme in a Gundam show is war is fucking bad. A lot of people die, and it's not just the soldiers who volunteer for it. It's the people who get caught in the crossfire. It's the children who get caught in the crossfire. And I think those episodes were really effective at showing that. So that's basically that part of the show. Like I said, like I like it. I think it's where it really kind of starts to pick up. Then we get to Earth. The episodes on Earth are my favorite part of Double Zeta, even more than like the last arc when we start to really get to the climax, which is cool as fuck. But to me, this is where the personal stakes and drama really reach crescendo, and it opens with possibly my favorite episode of Gundam, Lena's Blood, which is technically a 2 parts. I guess it's 2 episodes, but I fucking love Lena's Blood so much. So we get Lena getting shot, which I'll say I had a feeling she was going to die, and I was right, but then I was wrong, because by the end, they're like, okay, she's not actually dead. Someone was able to save her, and you don't find that out till, I don't know, like episode 45 or 46 out of 47. You find that out super late. So for a good almost like half of the show, she genuinely seems like she's dead. And while there's a lot of points where Judao's like, no, I can sense her, she's okay, which is foreshadowing that she's okay, and yes, as a new type, he'd be able to sense that. I was genuinely thinking, is he just crazy? Like, is he making shit up? And, like, he's almost kind of going cyber new type in a sense where, like, he's just getting his wires crossed. Holy shit, that's interesting. Like, we saw what happened with Camille. Is something almost similar going to happen to Judao? And it doesn't. I'm glad it didn't. But damn, I thought they were setting me up for something brutal, dude. But Lena getting shot, just for, again, kind of like the balls of just, here's a main character who's a kid, and she gets fucking glocked. And then the scene right after, and it's just Judao's tranquil fury as he's holding his sister and just glaring at Haman Karn. And then you see the stand manifesting, and like, this is the physical representation of his power and what he's capable of. And Minky Momo loses her damn mind. This is someone who we have always seen as being very composed, very sharp, and while sometimes she can get mad and maybe lose her temper a bit, because I feel like that happened once or twice on Zeta, like specifically around Char, for the most part, she's able to keep that composure and be like, I almost had him, but then these fucking idiots had to ruin it. It's fine. It's fine. And here she freaks out. And then you see her like running in terror. She just like hides in her room and starts crying. I was not expecting that. And again, it's the kind of thing in a lot of other shows where I'd be like, really? Like, I don't know. This feels out of character. But with new types, I just kind of expect over attachment really quickly and intense overreactions, because that's kind of the point. Or I guess to put it another way, That's the drawback. It's like, yes, you can like sense people, you can sense things on the battlefield, you can get into a mobile suit and more or less understand immediately how it works. Good shit. You can have like actual powers sometimes. Good shit. You also form attachments much quicker than a normal human would, which can bite you with. I'm sorry, like I started unicorn. This is a very minor spoiler. This is the first episode, but Banazher Link's all-time great name. Talking to Audrey, talking to his girl Audrey, being like, I know we just met, but I basically do anything for you. Like, if you, all you need to do is say you need me, and I'll do anything. I don't need you. And it shatters him. Like, you just met her like 30 minutes ago, like maybe a couple hours ago, but also new type. I get it at this point. It's one of the things that made me appreciate CCA the second time around, because the first time and watching Kess, I'm like, I don't know about this. And then the second time, like, okay, I get it. Oh, this is actually like really fucking tragic. But anyways, like we'll get to CCA when we do the CCA video. For all I know, we'll do it right after this. But going back to Lena's blood, Minky Momo freaks the fuck out. I love right after how after Lena's been shot, she's able to still use like all the things that Glemmy has taught her about politics and authority to kind of just start giving people orders. And because they know she's with Glemmy, if she says, hey, Glemmy Toto told me this, like told me to tell you this, she has the clout to pull it off. And again, even while like shot and like dying, is able to be a badass. It made me like Lena a lot. And then you have Poodoo trying to kill her so she could be Judao's only sister. Lena dying when a mech falls on the building she was in, and Poodoo genuinely freaking out about that. And then you have Judao freaking out about that. Glemmy's fucking callousness when she dies. Like, there's a point, it's like right before they go to Earth, like when Poodoo is falling, I actually forgot to bring this up earlier, when she's about to be lost to the Earth, and then he's just like, oh, I put so much work into her, and it's not even gonna pan out. Like, he does not give a shit. And then with Lena, he's like, look, I kidnapped this kid, I've been trying to turn her into like a proper lady, and for her to become like a pop idol and everything. And look, this is what happens. Why me? He's so fucking callous, and I love it. I hate Glemmy Toto. All my homies hate Glemmy Toto, but he's so good at being such a hateable piece of shit that I kind of love him. Like, the whole episode is just peak. After that, we have the couple episodes in, I don't remember what country in Africa they said, but I remember I think they said it specifically in the Sahara Desert with the blue Zaku's. Like, I love the Zaku mobile suit. I'm not crazy about the color. Like, I don't hate green as a color. I think it's fine, but I like the Zaku suit a lot. The blue Zaku looks so fucking good, man. Like, that is, you cooked with those. And to me, this is notable because it's like the only arc of the show where Glemmy has any fucking redeeming qualities and a genuine sense of honor, where he actually wants to help the guys with the blue Zaku. He's like, no, like, that dude saved my life. I'm with you here. Like, look, I'm a piece of shit. I'm a backstabber. I have plans to overthrow Haman Karn and with a fucking army of clones. But I'm actually going to try to do a good thing here. And ruin the French dude. Or like her artist friend. That was really entertaining. And there's this one line he says where he's like, yeah, the people here call all Europeans French because they can't tell the difference. That got a really big laugh out of me. And the arc on Earth concludes with the shit in Dublin, which is, number one, we get the return of Camille, who seems like he's healing-ish. He's actively using his new type abilities, like communicate. Like, I can't communicate with you verbally or like physically anymore, but I can still use my mind. So it did seem like he is healing, but he's still not okay. The Earth is selling out the Argama to Haman Karn so they can try to end the war. And it's shit like this that makes me genuinely love watching Gundam. Because I've been following the Argama and Bright since, we've been following Bright since 79, but the Argama specifically since Zeta. I am very invested in this ship. I'm invested in what's left of its crew. So them just kind of be like, yeah, we're going to decommission your ship, and you're a fucking warmonger. Fuck you. We just want peace. They come across as real assholes. But at the same time, dude, we just want peace. We would rather not continue fighting a war if it's not going to benefit us. If we could just end things now, if we can just give Haman Karn what she wants, fuck it. And I genuinely find that interesting. And again, yes, the way these assholes are written is very much like, well, it's going to benefit us. We're going to get a lot of money out of it. I don't remember exactly the deal. We're going to be very cushy afterwards. We don't care what happens to the rest of the Earth or the rest of space. But in concept, I find a lot of that politicking very interesting. And again, just the Earth saying, fuck what happens in space, we're going to do what benefits us, shows that they can't necessarily be trusted. And I think it's kind of that sentiment that's a big reason that CCA fucking happens, why Shard does what he does in that movie. Speaking of war crimes, the fucking colony drop, there's a lot going on there. It's the actual dropping of the colony, the refugee ship getting destroyed. Hayato dying is not a war crime necessarily. It's a soldier in the line of duty, but we still get some of that we've known since 79 dying. And Camille and Pudu just feeling all of it and being helpless to do anything is really impactful. It's the one where I'm I hate saying how much I loved this because how fucked up it is, but I kind of loved it. It's also where we get Pudu 2 being introduced and her being a problem, and then Pudu performs a final explosion, sacrifices herself to stop Pudu 2, and no one gives a shit. After Lena dies, there is an entire episode of Rue basically telling Judo, hey, you're a soldier. Get over it. You got duties to do. And everyone else saying, his sister died yesterday. Give my man a break. Pudu dies, no one batted a fucking even Judo. Look, I know none of y'all really liked her that much. And you could argue Judo more tolerated her than really liked her. But I don't know. This seems a little callous for a bunch of empathetic new types. But then we move into the climax where, our punks become the crew of the Argama, because I don't remember exactly what happened. It's Bright ends up going somewhere else. So they're in charge. Beecha ends up becoming the captain of the Argama. And they get, I don't remember the name of the other ship, but they get support from another ship, which is helmed by Emily, who is Bright's subordinate, because Bright's arc in Double Zeta is number one. Look, I'm the captain. I have to deal with a bunch of punk-ass kids, but I'm going to do the best I can. And also, man, I really shouldn't have an affair. I really don't want to cheat on my wife, but I might end up cheating on my wife. And that's kind of all Emily really is just, she really likes Bright and just wants to impress him. And that's kind of it. I'm sorry. Your character... Sorry, brain was kind of stopping for a second. Let me try that again. It's not that she's a really interesting or sympathetic character that's also trying to have Bright have an affair. It is just, look, I know Mirai. Mirai's cool as hell. All you are doing is being a problem for her. Nah. So, believe it or not, I didn't really bat an eye when Emily died. But getting to some of the shit that other shit that happens in the climax, I don't remember the name of the colony, but it's the colony they go to where, they have to get rid of their Gundams, they have to disarm, and Haman Karn is, stolen away on the Argama, which was super neat, but it's where they fucking cross-dress, and, cheat out and drag. They constantly are man, this is the ugliest girl we've ever seen. Shit was fucking hilarious. This is where Rosara from Moon dies, and it's really confusing. So she and Mondo are very close, and because of the shit that had happened in the previous episode where this dude is trying to have a harem of all of the girls, the boys stop them. Cool, but we're still on the colony. So I believe I don't remember, it's like Rosara, and I think it's like Sasara or Sorasa. Anyways, the other sister's like, cool, I want to meet with Haman Karn and see if I can get her to like accept the light or whatever. And Mondo, I think it's like Rosara wants to go with her, make sure she's okay. Mondo's going to go with Rosara to make sure she's okay. The asshole dude recognizes Mondo and wants to kill him. And he's in his mobile suit and wants to squish him. There is a point where Rosara jumps over Mondo's body to shield him. And what it looks like is like, if this is her, the Gundam is like, the mobile suit's about to step on her, doesn't, and then like kind of topples over. So I'm very confused as to what killed her. Like, it didn't look like he made contact. So did she die? Like, I don't think she died because she jumped on Mondo. Like, that wasn't enough like physical exertion. And I don't think I saw any like exhaust ports on the bottom of the foot that like burned her or anything. Like, it looks like it's supposed to be she got stepped on and they didn't show it. But from the way it's actually animated, it's not like, oh, okay, like it's a discretion shot. It just didn't happen. So I was kind of confused. And again, with the dude like toppling over, Judo gets there and throws a rock at his head. I'm like, I know Double Zeta's goofy. If this character is really about to die, we're being a little too goofy right now. Surely she's just kind of... No, she's dead. Huh. That was some weird tonal whiplash, even for this show. So that happened. There's the Colony 3 arc, which is kind of what really kicks off the climax, where Glemmy starts his coup against Haman Karn. And now that Neo Zeon is fighting Neo Zeon, the Argama has an opening to like take advantage of all that chaos. I love that there's a point where Glemmy says about Haman Karn, like, oh, that woman is too ambitious for her own good, when literally, like, he is too much of a bastard for his own good, and that's what causes them to lose. He has the audacity, but not the self-awareness. I fucking hate him, and I fucking love him. Like, what a piece of shit. Puru 2 puts in work. She's the one that kills Emily, and she ends up flipping to their side. Mashmir gets to do a bunch of cool shit, actually dies, like, via final explosion. And Haman Karn, like, doesn't bat an eye. Like, even though to him, she was the, like, ultimate thing in the world. He's like, I love her, you know, blah, 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 blah. I mean, I think she's almost, like, putting on a little bit of a front when she's like, you know, there's just, like, a wasted resource. But I think she kind of means it. Rue is the one that kills Glemmy, and, you know, that's pretty fucking satisfying, I'm not gonna lie. I enjoyed the final duel between Judo and Haman Karn, and, like, you know, how all these other, like, new types and new type souls are there helping Judo. I was like, oh, hi, Sarah! That's right, like, even when a new type dies, you know, their soul can pass on. Like, there's so many people helping him through this fight, while she is all by herself. And I don't know, I just found that very fitting. And I like that Judo offers to save her in the end. She just says no. Sorry. I think the dog wants to come inside, but I'm almost done. But she fought alone on her own terms, and she died alone on her own terms. And she didn't lose herself along the way, and I like that. And then, yeah, the show ends. Judo reunites with his not actually dead sister. He and Rue go off because they're now a thing, and Ellen Beecha, they become a thing, and it's all Gucci, and I had a good time. So, it's kind of going over the themes, which I've touched on a couple of them already. It's Gundam, it's anti-war. You see that with the Junkers. These are kids getting caught in war. Lena becomes a fucking POW and a hostage and ends up dying as a result of what happens. We're seeing civilians get caught up in this. We see what happens on Colony 3. We see what happens in Dublin, the Crybaby Cecilia arc. And just losing people you care about. Mondo losing Rosara, losing the first Pudu. when Judao thinks Lena's dead for half the show. There's also a recurring theme about empathy. And again, like I was mentioning, how Rue is like the only new type not to feel any empathy towards Judao, while everyone else is like, no, you gotta give my man time to grieve. Like, it hasn't even been a full day yet. What is wrong with you? We've got, and I was mentioning earlier, like how Camille and Pudu sense the colony drop in Dublin and how it physically is affecting them. And also, like I said, the lack of empathy is Glemmy's downfall. It is his inability to feel empathy that turns both of the Pudus against him. It turned Lena against him, which, I mean, also, she was never going to side with him anyways. So, like, look, you kidnapped me. I want my brother back. It's kind of why Rue seems so disgusted with him a lot of the time. Meanwhile, I feel like it's Judao's ability to feel compassion and empathy that gets him so many allies and gives him a reason to fight. For a good chunk of it, it's, I want to save my sister. But in addition to that, it does become, no, I just don't, I don't want to see people dying. I think war sucks. Let me do what I can do to stop it. Which I think kind of brings us to the last major theme, which is, it's Gundam. It's humanity's potential to grow and change. And we see that a lot with our main cast. You know, we've got Judao going from this punk who does not want to fight or commit to going out of his way to protect civilians and protest people who don't value human life. Bicha and Mondo go from these backstabbers who only look after themselves to one taking on a genuine leadership role and the other genuinely caring for another person and being hurt after she dies. We see Lena and how she kind of leans into what Glemmy is like teaching her. Not the lack of empathy, but like, hey, essentially it's like, if I have to be in this situation, I'm gonna make the most out of it. Which is something I really liked. We have both Pudus making the choice to stop being Glemmy's weapon and trying to become their own people. And I fucking love the dichotomy of our punks becoming more heroic as the series progresses, while our gentleman villains in Glemmy and Mashmi are becoming more ruthless and underhanded. Particularly just Glemmy and Judao. Glemmy is this man of passion, belief, and ambition. He is eloquent, but a brute. Judao is far less selfish. You know, like he's fighting for his family and his friends and for peace. And while he is a thug who will not hesitate to throw hands, he has a fucking heart of gold. You know, the noble villains become scoundrels while the lovable thugs become heroes. It's great. And in summation, yeah, Double Zeta's great. It takes a while to hit its stride, but I do think it's enjoyable the whole way through. And while I overall do like Zeta more, I think the peaks of Double Zeta are just as good.